Frank Delano is 74 and lives alone on a fixed income. Last winter, he sat at his kitchen table, spread 3 months of bills across it, and did something his mother did every single week in 1955. By the end of that first month, he had found $200 he'd been quietly handing away, same house, same life, nothing given up. His mother raised 5 children on one factory wage and never wasted a dime. What she taught him is number 1 on this list. Her generation ran money on rules, not apps. Plain rules drilled in young, carried for life. Then the world told us those rules were old-fashioned, so we dropped them and started leaking money without noticing. Frank's mother's rules run through everything that follows. Number 16 is worth about $80 a month, and it takes 1 phone call. Number 9 is something you're paying for right now and probably forgot you had. And number 1 is the rule Frank's mother lived by that found the whole 200. These 20 rules aren't about going without. They're about refusing to leak money. Hit that subscribe button. Let's count them down. Number 20. Write it all down for 1 month. This is where Frank started, and it's where his mother started every week. For 30 days, you write down every dollar that comes in and every dollar that goes out. The real numbers, not guesses. Most people on a fixed income have never once seen their own money on paper, and the leaks stay invisible until they're written in a column. Frank kept a spiral notebook by the phone and filled 4 pages. He found $90 the first month he couldn't even account for. His mother did it in a ledger at the kitchen table every Friday night. Not a budget yet, just the truth, in pencil, before anything else. Number 19, give every dollar a job before you spend it. The 1950s housewife didn't wait to see what was left over. She assigned it first. You take what comes in and, on paper, hand each dollar a purpose the moment it arrives. Rent, food, utilities, medicine, savings, before a single one wanders off. When a category is spent, it's spent. Frank divides his check into labeled envelopes the day it lands, and when the grocery envelope is empty, he stops. His mother did exactly this with 5 children and 1 wage, and never borrowed against next week. Not restrictive. A set of orders the money isn't allowed to disobey. Number 18, plan the week's meals before you shop. She never shopped guessing. She built the week first. You look in the fridge and the pantry, plan 7 suppers around what's already there, and write the list from the plan. Nothing extra comes home, and nothing already home spoils. American families throw away about $1,600 of food a year, and a solo senior wastes an outsized share of it. Frank plans his suppers on a Sunday now and buys only what fills the gaps. His mother planned every meal a week out because a wasted ingredient was money gone. Not rigid. The difference between running the kitchen and letting it run you. Number 17, cook it yourself, skip the box. The packaged, pre-made convenience version always costs several times the ingredients inside it. You keep flour, not the mix, real potatoes, not the boxed flakes, a pot of oatmeal, not the little packets. A pound of dried beans costs about $2 and makes a week of meals. Frank's big pot of soup runs $1 or $2 and feeds him all week, and it steams up the kitchen window the way his mother's did. She fed 7 people on scratch cooking that ran pennies a plate. Not more work than it's worth. The same food, minus the company's cut. Number 16, call and cut the cable bill. This is the one phone call worth the most, about $80 a month. Cable and streaming now average well over $100, and households that cut the cord save roughly $1,000 a year. You call, say you're thinking of canceling, and let them transfer you to the department whose only job is keeping you, and a 10 to 20% discount often appears on the spot. Frank made that call with his bills fanned across the table and knocked $25 off in 10 minutes, then cut 2 channels he never watched. His mother haggled every price in her life. Not rude, the plain refusal to keep paying for silence. Number 15. Put up an antenna for the local channels. Here's the rule behind the rule. You don't rent what you can own outright. A $20 to $40 antenna from any hardware store pulls in ABC, CBS, NBC, FOX, and PBS, free, forever, with no monthly fee ever again. For a senior who mostly watches the evening news and a few old movies, that one-time purchase replaces a chunk of the cable bill permanently. Frank put his up in an afternoon and gets his news and his ball games for nothing now. His mother owned her radio outright and it played free for 30 years. Not a downgrade, a one-time cost that ends a monthly one. Number 14. Cut hair and do personal care at home. A barber or salon adds up fast across a year, and do it yourself. Grooming saves $100 a month or more. You buy a pair of clippers once, learn a simple cut from a video, and do it at the kitchen table with a towel pinned at the neck. The same goes for the small salon extras that quietly pile up. Frank cuts his own hair now and hasn't sat in a barber's chair in a year. His mother cut every head in the house on the back porch each Sunday, clippers she'd owned for a decade. Not a sacrifice anyone notices. Money that simply stays home. Here's what Frank realized somewhere in that first month, and it's bigger than any single rule. His mother was, in every real sense, the chief financial officer of that household. She ran the budget, the pantry, the shopping, and a small factory that turned raw flour into a family's meals on one wage with 5 children, and she never once carried a debt. Then the decades quietly renamed all of it. The skills she'd been proud of got called old-fashioned, and a whole generation was taught to buy its way out of that work and call the buying progress. But buying your way out was never freedom. It was only ever a bill. What Frank picked back up wasn't nostalgia. It was the most competent financial management he'd ever seen, sitting unused in his own memory. Number 13. Ask for the senior discount everywhere. Half the discounts in this country are never advertised. You have to say the words. Kohl's takes 15% off for shoppers 60 and up on Wednesdays. Ross gives 10% to those 55 and over. Harris Teeter's Club 60 runs 5 to 10% on select days. You ask at the pharmacy, the diner, the hardware store, every time. Frank felt foolish the first time he asked at a register. Then the clerk circled a day on his receipt. His mother never paid full price for anything without first asking if there was a better one. Not begging. The oldest bargaining tool there is, still working.
Before we go on, I made something special for you. Guides for people like us who still believe the old ways mattered. They're the forgotten money habits our grandparents lived by, tricks that could save you thousands a year. But this knowledge is disappearing, and once it's gone for good. I've put together 2 books for you plus a free bonus. Imagine how much you could save over the next year by starting today. Scan the QR code on screen now or click the link below. I'll wait.
Number 12. Shop the discount day on purpose. Once you know a store's senior day, you build your trip around it. You do the one big shop on that exact day, not whenever you happen to run low. 15% off a whole cart at Kohl's, 10 at Ross, once a week, on a day you were shopping anyway. Frank keeps the days circled on the calendar taped to his refrigerator and plans around them. His mother timed her whole week around the days the pushcart prices dropped. Not a coupon to clip, a day to circle, and the same cart for less. Number 11. Line dry instead of running the dryer. The electric dryer is one of the hungriest machines in any home, and skipping it saves better than $100 a year. You hang the wash on a folding rack by a window or a line in the yard, and the air does the work free. It's also gentler on the clothes, so they last longer. Frank set up a rack by the back window, and his shirts come in smelling of outside air. His mother pinned the wash to a line in every season, fingers stinging in the February cold, and never thought twice. Not a hardship, a monthly charge she simply refused to pay. Number 10. Make your own cleaners. The cabinet under the sink doesn't need a dozen $4 bottles. It needs 3 cheap things: vinegar, baking soda, and a bar of soap. Vinegar and water shines glass and cuts grease. Baking soda scours a pan. A gallon of vinegar costs a few dollars and lasts months. Frank poured the branded sprays down the drain and buys none of them now. His grandmother cleaned exactly this way, long before a spray bottle existed. The chemistry that cleans your house never changed. Only the marketing on the label did, and he stopped paying for it. Number 9. Hunt down the subscriptions you forgot. This is money leaking in small monthly pieces you stopped noticing years ago. You sit down with a bank statement, go line by line, and circle every recurring charge, then cancel anything you haven't used in the last month. Auditing subscriptions frees $100 a month for many households. Frank found $40 a month of things he'd completely forgotten, a service he hadn't opened in 2 years among them. The companies count on you forgetting. His mother knew where every dime went. Not a hard afternoon. 1 statement, 1 pen, and the leaks close for good. Number 8. Wash cold and run full loads. The washing machine's power goes almost entirely into heating the water, so washing cold cuts that cost outright, and modern detergent is built for it. Then you wait for a full load instead of running half-empty ones, because the machine and the water cost the same either way. Frank switched to cold and full loads and watched the utility bill ease. His mother scrubbed on a board in cold well water her whole girlhood and got everything clean. Not a downgrade. The same clean laundry, minus the heat you were paying for. Number 7. Buy the store brand on anything identical. The store brand and the name brand often come off the same production line. Flour, sugar, canned beans, frozen vegetables, basic pain reliever, the contents match, and the price is often half. You pay for the printed label, or you don't. Frank lined the 2 cans up, read both, and switched every staple that day, cutting a quarter off the grocery bill with no change in taste. His mother bought the plain can every time because the name was a rich person's luxury, not lower quality. The same thing without the advertising baked into the price. Now go back to the winter Frank was 10, because this is the memory that changed everything last year. His father's plant went to short hours, and the pay envelope shrank by half almost overnight. Frank remembers other families on the street buying furniture on the new installment plans, running a grocery tab that rolled month to month, quietly going under. His mother did none of it. She had the pantry stocked from the fall. She had the meals planned. She had a coffee tin behind the flour that nobody was allowed to touch. The family ate 3 meals a day that whole winter and never borrowed $1. And Frank did not know until he was grown how close it had been. That memory is what sent him to the kitchen table last winter with his own bills. He wasn't being frugal for fun. He was reaching for the one thing he'd ever seen actually work. Number 6. Wait before you buy. Before any purchase that isn't food, rent, or medicine, you wait. 2 days for small things, a week for big ones. If you still want it after the wait, you buy it. If you forgot, you had your answer and kept the money. Most wants don't survive the pause. Frank has kept this rule since the month he started the notebook, and he says most of what he almost bought he can no longer even remember. His mother, who'd lived through the Depression, never once spent in a hurry. Not willpower, time, quietly doing the deciding for you. Number 5. Know what things actually cost. You keep a small notebook of the regular prices of the 10 or 15 things you buy most: milk, eggs, bread, coffee, your medicine. Once you know the real number, a fake sale is obvious at a glance. A special is only a deal if you know what sits underneath it. Frank keeps his list in his wallet and checks it against the tags, and he's caught a dozen sales priced above the regular shelf price. His mother carried every staple's price in her head and could not be fooled at any counter. Not obsessive. The one habit that makes every marketing trick in the store useless. Number 4. Fix it before you replace it. A dripping faucet, a loose button, a wobbly chair leg, none of it means a purchase or a service call. You keep a small kit: needle and thread, glue, a screwdriver, a 10-cent washer. A leaking tap takes 10 minutes, not a $40 plumber. Frank keeps a coffee can of salvaged screws and washers in the closet and mends what breaks. His mother lived by one rule: use it up, wear it out, make it do, or do without. Throwing away what could be saved was the one luxury she refused. Not stubbornness, a 10-minute fix standing between you and a real bill. Number 3. Serve water and coffee from home, not bottles and cups. The tap water is already paid for, and a case of bottled water runs $4 or $5 for what the faucet gives free. A cup of coffee out costs $2 or $3 against pennies at home. You keep one filter pitcher in the icebox and one thermos for the coffee. Frank carried the last case of plastic bottles down to recycling and set a glass pitcher in its place. $200 a year, gone in an afternoon. His mother drank from the tap her whole life and never thought twice. Not going without. Refusing to buy water twice. Number 2. Want less than you could have. Underneath every rule on this list sits the hardest one: wanting less than you're able to buy. No new thing comes home because a neighbor bought one first. A person who does not crave cannot be sold to, and a person who cannot be sold to does not leak money keeping up. Frank stopped measuring himself against the ads and the catalogs, and the wanting quieted down. His mother raised 5 children to believe every object in the house had earned its place. Not deprivation, whatever it looks like from outside. The plain refusal to be sold anything, which is its own kind of peace. Number 1. Pay yourself first, before a single bill. Here is the rule Frank's mother lived by, and it's the plainest thing on this list. The day money comes in, before rent, before groceries, before anything, you set a little aside. $10, $20. The amount does not matter. The order is everything, because it has to happen first and not from whatever is left over. There is never anything left over. His mother did it with the coffee tin behind the flour, a few dollars a week that nobody was allowed to touch. And that tin carried the family through the winter. The plant went short. Frank started the same tin last year. Add up everything on this list: the cable call, the antenna, The haircuts, the subscriptions, the store brands, the leaks closed, and it clears $200 the very first month. But it only becomes savings if you take your share off the top before the world takes its share off you. The amount each week is small. The order is everything. None of this required a bigger check, a financial advisor, or a single dollar Frank didn't already hold. It required attention, the willingness to look at money plainly, without shame and without fantasy. The generation that ran households through hard years understood something the modern world keeps trying to forget. Comfort is not the same as security. Convenience is not the same as freedom. The ability to buy anything you want is worthless beside the ability to make, mend, and manage almost everything yourself. Frank Delano found his $200 in a single month, and he didn't give up one thing he actually cared about. He just stopped leaking. His mother raised 5 children on one wage, filled a tin behind the flour, and owed no living soul a dime. And everything Frank needed, she had already taught him 50 years before he finally sat down and listened. On her street, she was not the exception. She was the rule. This month, you start again.